I was just watching that video with the Grand Theft Auto cop in San Andreas, and they had the Baltimore City Police card. I'm sitting there going, that's just Baltimore. I mean, if that wasn't said in San Andreas, that would be Baltimore right there. As I said in the comments, I'm not even allowed to go to the new Cathedral Cemetery area, and my mom won't let me without a guy there and one who's armed. And face it, I'm not gonna give names except for my great-great-granddad D-Boy because he's deceased. He, for lack of a better term, served his time as a police officer. He did his job. He, for lack of a better term, is out of the force now. He's obviously been out of the force for a long time. And we can almost thank God that great-great-granddad D-Boy. In one way, we can thank God that he's not alive today. In another way, I almost wish I'd have made like great-great-granddad D-Boy was around because, I mean, he could be a real SOB sometimes, but perhaps we need the SOBs nowadays because some of these kids are belligerent, they're disrespectful, they say like, oh, you know, fuck cops, and I'm sorry, it's true, that's what they say, Michelle. She's getting all mad at me because of what some of these kids say, like they'll say, oh, fuck cops and fuck the pigs and fuck this, and I'm not politically correct. Or politically so-called correct, but my point is, some of these kids, oh, for goodness sakes, I'm not re-recording anything. This is what some of these kids say, and they need to know what's going on out there, because the way that some of these kids are belligerent toward the cops, well, they say fuck cops and fuck this and fuck the pigs, and it's like, are you for real? Some of these people are saving your lives, and you're gonna say, oh, fuck them, and you know what? Our leftist education system does not help that. You have books where, for example, Jane Fonda was justified for betraying our soldiers in Vietnam, and then that kind of sentiment affects these kids and gets carried over into, well, the soldiers were pigs, therefore the cops must be pigs. And it's sad that because of the University of Maryland education system and similar education systems, our cops in Baltimore City and in other places get totally disrespected, and people have died on the line of duty for these belligerent kids who don't care about the law. I've seen vandalism, I've seen all kinds of stuff. I think it was perfume that I saw at the University of Notre Dame cemetery, but I wasn't exactly sure. I thought it was a crack bead or something at first, and forgive me, I do nervous laugh, by the way, but I mean, that just shows you how disrespectful a lot of these kids have become. They think it's so cool, and then they say that the cops are this, and they're beating up people, and, you know, doing all this crap. Well, you know, there are some bad cops, like Officer Riviere, and I don't know the guy. I don't know if any of my family and friends who are in law enforcement have worked with Officer Riviere, and even if they have, it's not, at least I hope it's not a reflection on them, but you do have the corrupt officers like Officer Riviere, but you have the ones, most people, or at least many people, if not most people, go into law enforcement because they want to save lives and they want justice. They don't want to be called pigs or told, for lack of a better term, to fuck off or do whatever. You know, when cops are saving lives, they're there to save lives, they're there to enforce the law, they're there to do what they need to do. They're not there to get, you know, things thrown at them and spit on. I mean, this, first of all, again, this is not the Vietnam era. And even then, the Jane Fondas, unfortunately, are still out there today. And they're doing all kinds of stuff to cops and soldiers and other people who are putting their lives on the line just so you can even say the nasty stuff about cops that you say. And as I said, when I was watching that video, sure, Grand Theft Auto, okay, Grand Theft Auto is fictional and what have you, but, I mean, even the background song that guy picked, that is a reflection of Baltimore. All thuggish and, yeah, we cool, man, and, you know, you see in the series like Homicide and all that, that's Baltimore in a nutshell, and the area where I was raised, I mean, that's just a whole, you know, holy part of the Baltimore-Annapolis area, and It doesn't get better, it gets worse, and then people wonder why things are going corrupt. Well, it's because people are corrupt and they're disrespecting these people who are out there who, are trying to enforce the law, who want a sense of justice, and as I said, who are putting their lives out there on the line every day. I cannot emphasize that enough. I guess especially because it's Memorial Day weekend, and as I said, I think about my great-great-granddad D-Boy, and to be honest, my family members who probably, in part, went into law enforcement and into similar fields because of people like him. And I'll even provide a link to the 1900 census, so if you don't believe me, you can see that he was a police officer, and that I can imagine he got hell for being a police officer, and if I recall, he ended up being a farmer by 1910, so he clearly left the police force, A, because he had a lot of kids to raise anyway and a lot of stuff going on at home, or B, people were so belligerent, he just said, you know what, enough. And that's how a lot of cops feel today. So the next time you feel like, calling a cop a pig or telling them to, for lack of a better term, fuck off, remember, they're saving your life. And if you don't like it, that's too bad. You're lucky you're still alive. Because if some cops were not around, you might not even have your next breath. Just remember that the next time you don't flip off a cop or be belligerent with one or say, no man, you need a search warrant. By the way, Pringle versus Maryland, kibosh, your excuse of, well, he didn't have a search warrant. When you say yes to a cop, if he's asked you if he can come in, you said yes according to Pringle v. Maryland. And that was your search warrant consent right there. So remember, next time you want to diss a cop, think about, first of all, the video that I'm responding to. Think about my own family, including great-great-granddad D-Boy. And think about these cops who have died in the line of duty, and all they hear, and all their family members hear is, oh, well, that cop was a pig anyway, or this. And you have got to think before you just go disrespecting cops and say, oh, bleep law enforcement, bleep this, and they're whatever. And yeah, I'm getting a look for my sister because she's so politically correct. But I'm sorry, when these kids, say fuck the cops and fuck all that.
Off. I don't want to be in this video.
You're not in this video. You're giving me the looks across them. Anyway.
No, you put a private concern.
Anyway, take care.